A bell rings in the dark, not loud, not urgent, just enough. Somewhere above, in a room filled with silk curtains and carved wood, no one hears it. The house sleeps in comfort. The fire has burned low. The world above is still, but below, everything begins. A servant opens her eyes. The air is cold. The room is small. Stone walls hold the night inside them. There is no sunlight here, only shadows, and the faint glow of a candle just being lit. She does not stretch. She does not linger. She rises, because this is not her time. This is the time she works. Beneath the grand houses of Edwardian England, there was another world. A world hidden from guests, hidden from history, hidden even from memory. They called it below stairs. Long corridors, narrow and quiet, kitchens filled with steam and heat. Small rooms where servants slept side by side. No paintings, no music, no comfort, only duty. Above them, life was different. Soft carpets, silver trays, laughter drifting through bright rooms. Gentle mornings that began when the sun was already high. But below, the day started before dawn, before light, before the world even knew it had begun. Footsteps echo softly across stone floors. A maid moves quickly, carrying water. A footman polishes boots in silence. The cook is already awake, preparing fires, measuring ingredients, moving with practiced hands. No one speaks loudly. They know the rules. The house must wake gently, and they must remain invisible. That was the first lesson every servant learned. To exist, but not be seen. To hear, but not react. To serve without leaving a trace. They moved through the house like shadows. Present but unnoticed, essential but never acknowledged. If they did their work perfectly, no one would think of them at all, and that was the goal. In a house like Downton Abbey, everything depended on this hidden world. The breakfast that appeared on time, the clothes laid out without a word, the fires already lit before the masters woke. None of it happened by chance. It was built on routine. Strict, repeating, unforgiving routine. The maid climbs the narrow staircase. She enters a bedroom she does not belong in. She opens curtains slowly, letting light fall into a room that is not hers. She smooths the bed, adjusts the pillows, fixes what must look effortless. She will leave before the lady wakes. Her presence will never be noticed, but her absence would be. This was the strange truth of their lives. They were invisible until they were needed. Each servant had a place, a role, a fixed position in the order of the house. The butler stood at the top, calm, controlled, respected. Below him, the footmen. Then the maids, then the kitchen staff. Everyone knew where they belonged, and stepping outside that place was dangerous, because in this world, one mistake could end everything. A broken plate, a late arrival, a careless word, that was enough. Dismissal came quickly, quietly, without second chances, and once dismissed, finding work again was not easy, so they learned to be careful. Careful with their hands, careful with their voices, careful with their thoughts. Even emotions had to be controlled, because emotion could lead to error, and error could lead to loss. But behind that control, they were still human. A young maid might pause for just a second too long, staring out a small window, watching the sky change colors, wondering what life might be like beyond these walls. A footman might hear laughter from above and feel something shift inside him. Not anger, not jealousy, just distance. A quiet understanding that the world he served was not the world he lived in. There were dreams here. Small ones, careful ones, a better position, a kinder household, a life outside service. But dreams had to stay hidden, because hope, like everything else, had to be controlled. The kitchen grows warmer, the house above begins to stir. Soon bells will ring again, orders will come, tasks will multiply, the quiet rhythm will turn into constant movement. But for a brief moment, there is stillness. A pause between darkness and duty. The servants gather for a simple meal, bread, tea, no luxury. They sit together, but even here, the order remains. The hierarchy is never forgotten. Even rest has structure, even silence has meaning. Then the moment passes. A bell rings. Sharp this time, clear. The house is waking, and just like that, they rise again. No hesitation, no delay. They return to their roles, invisible hands preparing a visible world. Above, the masters open their eyes. The curtains are already drawn. The fire is already lit. The clothes are already waiting. It feels effortless, natural, as if the house itself has taken care of everything. But the house is not alive. The servants are. They move through corridors, up and down staircases, in and out of rooms they do not belong to. They carry trays, clean surfaces, adjust details no one else notices. They exist in every moment, and yet they are never seen. That is the quiet mystery of below stairs. A world full of life, hidden beneath another. A world built on discipline, silence, and perfection. A world where people lived entire lives in the background of someone else's story. The candle from the early morning has burned lower now. Its flame flickers gently, much like the lives below, steady, quiet, unnoticed, because history remembers the grand halls, the laughter, the dresses, the names of those who owned the house, but it rarely remembers the ones who kept it running. And so, in the soft shadows beneath the stairs, their lives continue, unseen, unheard, but never unimportant. The bell rings again, and once more, they move. A knife slices through bread in the early morning, slow, careful, precise. The kitchen is already alive. Steam rises from boiling water. The fire crackles softly beneath heavy iron pots. Plates are arranged in perfect order. Every movement has purpose. Every sound is controlled. Above, the house is still waking. Below, the day is already well underway. Each servant knows exactly what to do. There is no confusion, no hesitation. The cook stands at the center, directing without raising her voice. Her hands move quickly, shaping meals that others will enjoy, but she will never taste at the table. A maid polishes silver, her reflection staring back at her, small, distorted, almost unfamiliar. A footman adjusts his jacket, checking every button, every fold. His appearance must be perfect. Even the smallest detail matters. Because here, perfection is expected. Not praised, expected. There is no applause for a job done well, only silence, and silence means success. But inside that silence, lives continue. Real lives. A young maid pauses for just a moment, her hand resting on the table. Her eyes drift toward a narrow window high on the wall. A thin line of morning light slips through. Outside, the world feels wide, open, free. Inside, everything feels smaller, measured, controlled. She looks away quickly. Dreams are dangerous here because dreams can lead to mistakes, and mistakes are not forgiven. In this world, every servant carries more than just their duties. They carry fear, not loud, not visible, but always present. Fear of losing their position, fear of displeasing the wrong person, fear of being replaced without warning. Because replacement is easy, there is always someone else waiting. The footman lifts a tray. His movements are smooth, practiced, but inside, his thoughts move differently. He hears laughter from upstairs, soft, carefree. It drifts down through the ceiling like something distant, something unreachable. He does not feel anger, he feels distance, a quiet understanding that he belongs to a different world, a world that exists just below, but never truly connects. The house is divided, not by walls, but by life itself. Servants live close to the masters, closer than anyone else. They see their routines, hear their voices, notice their habits, and yet they remain strangers. Always. A maid enters a bedroom upstairs. She moves carefully. The curtains are opened, the bed is smoothed. The room is reset as if no one had ever slept there. She notices small details, a letter left slightly open, a chair moved out of place, a tone of voice remembered from the night before. She sees more than she is meant to, but she says nothing, because seeing is allowed. Speaking is not. Back below stairs, the rhythm continues. The kitchen grows louder. Orders move quickly. The morning becomes a steady flow of work. There is no pause, no time to think, only time to do. And yet, even here, emotions find a way to exist, in quiet glances, in small smiles, in moments so brief they almost disappear. Two servants pass each other in a narrow hallway. Their eyes meet for just a second. There is something there, understanding, connection, maybe even affection, but it cannot last, because here, even feelings must follow rules. Friendships form in silence, not spoken loudly, not shown openly, but built slowly through shared work, shared exhaustion, shared understanding. They learn to trust each other, carefully, because trust is fragile, and once broken, it cannot be repaired. There are also tensions, quiet ones. A look held too long, a task done better than another, a position desired but not earned. Jealousy does not shout here, it waits, it grows slowly, hidden beneath politeness. And always, there is one truth every servant understands. They are being watched, not just by the masters, but by each other. The butler observes everything. Calm, controlled, silent. He notices who is late, who is careless, who is changing. Nothing escapes him, because maintaining order is his duty. And order must never break. But even he is not free. He serves just like the others, only from a higher place within the same system. The day moves forward. Breakfast is served, rooms are cleaned, shoes are polished, clothes are pressed, every detail is prepared before it is needed, because the illusion must remain perfect. Above stairs, life appears effortless. Below stairs, it is anything but. The maid returns to the kitchen. Her hands are tired, her steps are slower now, but she does not stop. Stopping is not allowed. She glances once more at the small window. The light is brighter now. The day has fully arrived, but she will not step into it. Not yet, maybe not ever. Because for many servants, this life is not temporary. It is permanent, a path chosen, or sometimes forced. A life lived in the background of others. The knife slices again, the fire burns steadily, the house continues. And beneath it all, in the quiet rhythm of unseen lives, something deeper remains. Not just duty, not just discipline, but a question. One that lingers in every silent hallway and every hidden room. What happens to a life when it is lived entirely for someone else? The secrets below stairs. Expanded script. A whisper travels through a hallway. So soft, it almost disappears before it reaches the end. But someone hears it. Someone always does. Below stairs, silence is not empty. It is full of things that are never spoken aloud, full of truths that live only in passing glances, in half-heard words, in moments that are quickly forgotten or carefully hidden. A maid folds linen in a quiet room. Her hands move slowly today, not because she is tired, because her mind is elsewhere. She remembers something she was not meant to hear. A conversation through a wall. Voices raised just enough to break through the silence. A name mentioned, a secret revealed. She lowers her eyes and keeps folding. Because she understands the rule, some things must never be repeated. Servants see everything. They are present in every room, every hour, every routine. They enter spaces before and after everyone else. They prepare the day and close it again at night. And in those moments, they notice a door left slightly open, a letter not fully hidden, a tone of voice that does not match a smile. Small things, but small things tell stories. A valet brushes a coat upstairs. His movements are careful, measured. But his eyes pause for just a second. There, on the table, a letter, not sealed, not hidden. He does not read it, not fully, just enough. A name, a place, a truth that should not exist. He looks away, quickly, because knowing something like that is dangerous. Knowledge in this world is not power, it is risk. A cook stirs a pot below stairs. Her face calm, her posture steady. But she has heard things too. Arguments, confessions, moments of weakness from those who appear strong above. She has seen the cracks behind the perfect image. But she says nothing, because speaking the truth could end everything. This is the quiet burden of service. To know, but never reveal. To witness, but never act. To carry truths that do not belong to you. In the narrow corridors below, whispers move like shadows. They pass from one servant to another, not as gossip, not loudly, but carefully, measured, controlled, because information has value, and sometimes it is the only thing a servant truly owns. A maid sits alone for a brief moment. Her hands rest in her lap. Her thoughts move faster than her breath. She knows something that could change everything. A hidden relationship, a secret meeting, a truth that could destroy someone's reputation upstairs. For a moment, she feels something close to power, but that feeling fades quickly, because she also understands the cost. If she speaks, she risks everything, her position, her home, her future. If she stays silent, the secret stays alive, inside her. And so, like many before her, she chooses silence. Silence becomes protection, a shield, a survival. But silence is heavy. It builds over time, layer by layer, secret by secret. A glance that cannot be explained, a truth that cannot be shared, a feeling that must be hidden. The house above continues as if nothing is wrong. Laughter, dinner, conversation, but below, the weight of what is known begins to grow. Two servants pass each other in a dim corridor. Their eyes meet. No words are spoken, but something is understood, they both know. Different pieces, different truths, but the same silence. Because below stairs, secrets do not disappear. They settle, they linger, they become part of the walls themselves, and sometimes they change people. A servant who once smiled easily becomes quieter, more careful, more distant, not because they want to be, because they must be. The house depends on balance. On control, on the illusion that everything is as it should be, and secrets threaten that illusion, so they are hidden, buried, locked away in the quiet spaces below. The candle burns low, its flame flickers, like a truth struggling to stay alive, without being seen. Because in the world below stairs, the most dangerous thing is not what is done, it is what is known, and the heaviest burden a servant carries is not the work in their hands, but the silence in their heart. The quiet lives history forgot, expanded script. The house grows quiet. Upstairs, the lights fade one by one. Doors close softly. Footsteps slow. Voices disappear into silence. The day is ending, for them. But below stairs, the day is not over. A maid stands at a basin, her hands deep in cold water. She scrubs slowly, methodically. The dishes must be clean before she can rest. A footman folds linens in the dim light. Each fold must be perfect, each edge aligned. The cook sits for a moment, just a moment, before rising again to prepare for tomorrow. Because tomorrow will come early. It always does. There is no applause, no recognition, no voice that says, "You have done enough." Only the quiet understanding that the work never truly ends. The house above sleeps peacefully. Beds are warm, rooms are still. Everything is exactly as it should be, because below stairs, someone made it that way. A maid walks slowly down a narrow corridor. Her steps are softer now. Slower, not because she wants to move slowly, because she's tired. She reaches her small room. The door creaks slightly as she opens it. Inside, there is little. A narrow bed. A small table, a single candle, no luxury, no comfort beyond the basics. She sits. For the first time all day, she is still. And in that stillness, her thoughts return. She thinks of the life she lives, of the hours that pass unnoticed, of the people she serves who may never know her name. She thinks of the dreams she once had, small dreams, simple ones. And she wonders when they began to fade. In another room, a footman removes his jacket. Carefully, he hangs it in the same place as always. Routine brings order, order brings control, but even he feels it. That quiet distance. He has stood in grand rooms, he has watched important conversations, he has seen moments that history might remember, but he was never part of them, only present, never included. That is the strange truth of this life. To be close to everything, and belong to nothing. The cook blows out a candle. Darkness fills the room. For a moment there is nothing, no sound, no movement, just the quiet breath of a house at rest. But even in that darkness, the weight of the day remains, because these lives are not written down, not recorded, not remembered in books. History tells us about the great families, their titles, their wealth, their choices, but it forgets the hands that made those lives possible. The maid who woke before dawn, the footman who stood for hours without moving, the cook who fed an entire household without ever sitting at the table. Their lives were real, their struggles were real, their emotions were real, but they lived in the background, and when their time ended, most left nothing behind. No portraits, no letters, no stories passed down through generations, just memories, fading ones, carried quietly by the walls they once walked. The house remains, the rooms stay the same. New servants come, new lives begin, and the old ones disappear. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, silently, like footsteps fading down a long corridor. The maid lies down on her narrow bed, her eyes close. Tomorrow will come too soon. The bell will ring again, the candle will be lit again, the same steps will be taken, the same silence will be carried, and the world above will never know. That is the final truth of below stairs. Not the work, not the rules, not even the secrets, but the quiet disappearance of lives that were fully lived, yet never truly seen. The candle flickers one last time, then it goes out. And in that darkness, a question lingers. How many lives have been forgotten, simply because they were lived in service of others?